Article 10. Emotional Recovery and Identity After Stroke. Article Summary. This article addresses one of the most complex and deeply personal aspects of stroke recovery, the reconstruction of identity and emotional stability. It reframes recovery beyond physical function to include the psychological, emotional, and identity shifts that define long-term outcomes. It reinforces a central principle of the Rewired Runner philosophy. Recovery is not about returning to who you were. It is about building forward into who you are becoming. About the author, Mark Ford is a stroke survivor who turned ultramarathon runner and is the founder of Rewired Runner. He helps survivors rebuild belief, energy, and purpose through movement. Read by a text-to-speech AI. Important safety. Note: this article shares lived experience supported by research, but it is not medical advice. Stroke recovery and mental health responses vary widely. If you're experiencing persistent low mood, panic, trauma symptoms, or thoughts of self-harm, please reach out to a qualified clinician or crisis support in your country. Introduction. Grief, acceptance, and rebuilding who you are without pretending nothing changed. Recovery can feel heavy. Identity can feel uncertain. That's true. It's also true that many survivors make real, meaningful gains over time, sometimes slowly, sometimes in bursts, as brain and body adapt. With steady effort, good support, and a measure of luck, the biology you were dealt with, and the location/extent of injury, you can often build a life that feels more reliable, more you, and increasingly capable. Progress isn't guaranteed or linear. Setbacks are part of the path. Some survivors face tough limits not from lack of effort, but because of where and how the damage occurred. If that's you, it isn't your fault. Small, values-aligned actions can still improve stability, confidence, and quality of life. Reality check. Much of what follows is simple to say and brutally hard to do. That's normal. Hard doesn't mean impossible. Section 1. Why emotions can feel unpredictable after a stroke. Stroke doesn't just change movement and speech, it can shake the foundations of identity. Early on, emotions can feel like weather systems, clear one hour, flooded the next. That swing isn't a character flaw. It reflects what the brain is being asked to do under load. What's going on? The brain is rewiring. Injured and neighboring networks, attention, motor, language, emotion, take on new roles. That reassignment costs energy and can make feelings more volatile. Fatigue amplifies emotion. When energy runs low, the brain prioritizes basics. Patience narrows, stress hits harder, and small triggers feel big. Cognitive load matters. Busy rooms, long conversations, and decisions on decisions, tax timing and control systems, emotion often spills first. Stress can tighten speech and mood. In high-pressure moments or with certain people, speech and emotional control can feel less reliable. With calm support, they're often steadier. Grief is part of recovery. You're not just healing tissue, you're adjusting to change. It's normal to miss the old ease even while building the new you. A brief personal note on nights. Context for survivors. In my first couple of weeks in the hospital, I often couldn't sleep. Nights were the hardest. During the day, I was occupied with rehab, but in the dark, the uncertainty got loud. I lay there acutely aware of every sensation, wondering, is another stroke coming? That fear was real. Over time, what helped me was learning to work with my nervous system and capacity rather than fighting them, and building steadier days that made nights feel less threatening. Key idea: emotional variability after stroke is common and multifactorial. It can improve as energy, breath, and capacity improve, and with specific tools that reduce load and build stability. Section 2. Grief, Identity, and the Work of Acceptance. Many survivors try to sprint back to who they were before. That urge is human. In my case, I began returning to work about 10 months in, just a few hours twice a week. With hindsight, Even that was an attempt to be my pre-stroke self. It took much longer to work back to full time. A candid note on rushing back. When I pushed sooner and harder than my capacity, I made mistakes I wouldn't otherwise have made. My emotional regulation was less reliable, which isn't helpful in a work setting, and it affected my thinking and decision-making, my personal and business brain. Those periods taught me that rebuilding isn't only about effort. It's about fitting the load to the current nervous system. Acceptance took years. It wasn't resignation. It was choosing to build forward from where I stood, rather than chasing a version of me that no longer fits. The rebuild analogy that unlocked it for me. After an earthquake, you don't rebuild a city exactly as it was. You design for the current reality, safer codes, better routes, and new needs. That landed. I stopped trying to reconstruct the old me and started designing the next me for today's terrain. Different doesn't mean lesser, it means fit for now. That echoes our recovery loop. Action to consistency, to progress to belief. Small aligned actions create consistency. Consistency creates progress. Progress gradually rebuilds belief. Practical themes. Reader options, not prescriptions. Name it. This is grief. Naming reduces the fight and frees up energy to act. Shrink the horizon. Win the hour in front of you. Don't bargain forever. Build forward, not back. Ask, what's the next right step from who I am now? Gentle debriefs. Brief, non-judgment reflections. What helped? What didn't? What's one thing to try tomorrow? Then move on. Values over mood. Let values drive tiny actions when motivation is flat. Often, action precedes belief. I also noticed a link between general fitness and steadier days. Over months, as fitness improved, energy felt more reliable, breath support better, and regulation in conversations a little steadier. Not perfection, just fewer swings, more of the time. Sidebar, a plain English grief process. Not stages, not linear. Grief after a stroke isn't a checklist. It loops, it surges, it eases. This simple process gives survivors language for what they're moving through and a way to keep building forward. Recognize the loss. Name what changed. This happened. Some things are different now. Why it helps. Naming reduces the fight with reality and frees energy to act. Allow the feelings. Let the wave rise and fall. Sadness, anger, fear, frustration, none of these mean you're failing. Why it helps. Emotions metabolize when they're allowed, not avoided. Adjust the picture. Update roles, expectations, and timelines to fit today's capacity. Why it helps. Right-sized expectations prevent boom and bust and protect progress. Act by values. Small. Take one step that matches what matters to you. Family, service, effort. Why it helps. Action builds consistency. To consistency builds progress to progress. Slowly rebuilds belief. Reconnect and repeat. Stay linked to the people and routines that steady you. When grief loops back, start again at step 1. Why it helps. Connection and repetition make the hard days survivable, and the good days more frequent. Remember, this process isn't neat. It revisits itself. That's normal. You can't rush grief, but you can keep walking through it. Section 3. Tools that make a real difference. Options to try. Reality check. Everything here is simple to say, hard to do. That's normal. Practice builds the benefit. Note from Mark. The brief steps in A to F are science-aligned options I didn't do at the time. I wish I had, and I still view them as worthwhile trying, with clinical guidance as needed. G includes approaches I personally used over time. A 90-second reset, reader option. Unfold posture where you are. Breath pattern, example. 4-second inhale to 6 to 8-second exhale times 6 to 8 cycles. Optional hum on an exhale. Optional bridge, phrase. Give me a second, okay, go ahead. Why it can help. Longer exhales support a calmer state and reduce stress. B. The RAG, emotional ladder, reader option. Green, clear enough. Do the important thing now, simply. Amber, stirred. Shorten tasks, lower stakes, one priority, brief reset. Red, overloaded. Protect energy, breathe, walk, hydrate, and rest if possible. Why it can help. Matches load to capacity, avoids boom and bust. C. Movement before mindset, reader option. 5 to 15 minutes of light walking or gentle mobility before hard conversations or tasks. Why it can help. Can steady emotion and clear thinking. Fitness gains often align with more reliable energy and better breath support. D. 2-minute, defuse and choose, reader option. Notice the story. This is the I'm not who I was story. Name it as a thought. I'm having the thought that. Choose one small values-aligned step. Why it can help. Loosens sticky thoughts, restores agency. A 3-line evening check-in, reader option. One small win today. One hard thing handled. One micro-plan for tomorrow, first 5 minutes only. Why it can help. Builds continuity and eases nighttime rumination. FE, boundaries that protect your rebuild, reader option. People. Prefer steady relationships. Limit high drain time on red days. Inputs. Shorten screens/noise when amber/red. Tasks. One hard thing at a time, batch low stakes, tasks later. Why it can help. Defends the conditions under which identity grows. G. Mindset anchors that actually helped me, personal experience. This will pass. Impermanence, both ways. Tough moments pass and great ones pass too. Ultra running taught me not to get too high or too low, keep moving forward. Be the watcher, present moment attention. Over time and with effort, I learned to notice thoughts as events, not orders. Returning to the body, feet on the floor, breath moving, posture, helped me come back to now. Yoga Nidra, non-sleep, deep rest. Letting the practice guide me into calmer states helped me observe rather than wrestle with thoughts. Over time, it made nights less threatening. The belief that I could be better. Holding this lightly but acting anyway fueled my loop. Belief to action, to consistency, to progress, to stronger belief. Why this can help. A to F offer practical, testable options. G shares what I actually used. None erase difficulty. They reduce its stickiness and make room for the next values-aligned action. Section 4. Bugger moments, mistakes, repair, and the person you become. Recovery involves making choices and using words that don't land well. Some are automatic, while others are just human. There will be bugger moments. I wish I'd done that differently. With support, room to try and room to learn, those hard moments and the honest reflections that follow can shape a better future you. The difficulty is real. The mistakes keep coming while you're still rebuilding. Two truths that can coexist. Agency matters. Permission to try is part of recovery. Repair matters. Owning it, learning from it, and moving forward refines identity. A simple repair loop, reader option. Notice the instant after the slip. Name it to yourself. That didn't land the way I meant. Repair, briefly. I'm sorry, that wasn't the right thing to say. Clarify intent if helpful. What I meant was. Adjust one small thing next time. Tone, timing, or fewer words. Move on without replaying it all night. Shesta Shimt, second micro debrief, optional. What actually happened? What would I try differently next time? What's the smallest action I'll take now to close the loop? For supporters, permission to try is a gift. Space to repair is another. Both can accelerate learning without crushing confidence. Section 5. The self you're building. Hope isn't a promise, it's a path. With time, support, careful effort, a measure of luck, and by working through setbacks again and again, many survivors find their days grow steadier, their energy more reliable, and their identity truer to who they are now. You don't have to feel ready to start. You start, and readiness grows. Not perfect, but more reliable. Not all at once, one action at a time. Not who you were, someone stronger. Don't rebuild to the old blueprint. Like a city after an earthquake, designed for now, safer, wiser, better routed for the life you have. Recovery isn't magic, it's momentum. Keep going, small, honest, aligned. Medical and references. Full medical, legal, and conflict disclaimers are contained in the written article, as are scientific references to support and scientific statements made.